Good day, Andrew. Good day, Natalie. Good day, Nathan. Good day, everyone. So today we're going to start with this picture and look at it for a minute. It is by Albert Bierstadt. He is an American painter. He lived in 1830 to 1902. So that was quite a long time ago. He painted this particular picture, and it's called The Rocky Mountains. Oh my goodness, it looks so majestic. I want to go. I don't know if it will look anything like this today. This was over 100 years ago. But let's take a peek and see what we do see. In the foreground, we see this line going across here. That is probably a cloud? It's not a road because it's like out in the middle of nowhere there. But that is the foreground. We're talking about the foreground. Over here, you may not be able to see it, but if you look real close, you can see some teepees. Now, we're not going to find any teepees in the Rocky Mountains today, but over 100 years ago, there were Indians that lived over in that area. So there you have the foreground. Now in the midground, what do we see in the midground? There is this waterfall going here into the Rocky Mountains. That's in the midground. We see all of these other mountain ranges going on up here. That's all in the midground. So we have the foreground, the midground, and then back over here is the background. So we see these other mountain ranges back here going on. They have snow on the top. See that? On the top of there's some white up there. That's snow. And where the snow and the clouds and the mountains end, I'm not exactly sure. I'm wondering if this is not another waterfall. I don't know. What do you think? Okay. So there we have the three different grounds or places that you would see in a picture. You have your foreground, your midground, and your background. And when we do our project today, that's what we're going to be doing as well. And we're going to try and make a little bit of contrast between the two. But let's notice here one thing. When you're talking about way up here in the foreground, it's very dark. In the midground, it's a little bit lighter. All right, over here you see some light. It lightens up here, over there. And then in the background, it's really, really light. That is how you get distance in a landscape painting. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a landscape painting. A landscape painting where we're going to try and show the foreground, midground, and background of something by the color that it is going to be. And so this landscape painting is a landscape of mountains, the Rocky Mountains. And so now let's just move on to what we're going to do in our painting. All right, let's take this away. Away. So this is our picture that we're going to be doing. Let's see if we can get it in such a way that you can see a little bit more. All right, so we have a foreground here, which is dark. And we're going to be painting it with watercolor paints. And we're going to paint it black, just like this. How many of you really want to paint black? I know black is one of your favorite colors to paint. Then we're going to paint a midground. We're going to do our midground green. I'm going to show you what I did in a minute, but this particular one did it a purple. And then way in the back, a light purple. Now, purple is an okay color, but most of our watercolor palettes do not have purple in them. So if you have purple and want to do purple, that's fine. This just needs to be darker, and this needs to be lighter. Now, this particular picture, they did a very, very dark purple for the sky. We're going to just do our sky blue. Why blue? Because skies are blue. And again, we don't have purple in our palette. So our palette, the one that we're going to be using, is this one right here. You may have just one that you get from the Dollar Tree or dollar store, those straight ones. Those don't generally have purple in them either. And to try and make a dark and a light with that, it's going to be a little difficult. So we're going to stick with black, green, and blue. Let me show you how the one that I already did turned out. Okay. All right, let's get it here so you can see the whole thing. So we did the watercolor on the bottom with black, and you notice it's not solid, okay, but it has some texture in that, so it makes it look more like mountains or what. And then we have the dark green right here, and this one over here is dark green as well, right out of the light. Okay, so the dark green, and then a light green showing the back, blue for the sky, and then a sun. Okay, the sun is a cut out piece of paper, so you're going to want to do that first. Go ahead and cut out your suns just like this so that they're ready to go. All right, and then we're going to work on this particular project. Are you ready? Yeah, let's get the whole thing first. Are you ready? Let's see if we can get one to look just like that. First thing we need to do is get a messy mat. What's a messy mat? A messy mat is like this is a file folder, and so you want to get something like this, a file folder piece of cardboard. Construction paper is not really very thick, but something thick that you can paint on so that you can get don't get messy on your table. We're going to here we have a piece of cardstock. That's what I'm using today. Just a plain piece of cardstock, and I actually have two pieces. This is going to be the one that I'm going to be ripping. This is going to be interesting. Let's see if I can rip this online here. All right, so we're going to start here in the corner, and I'm going to just rip it. All right, and so here's my first piece. So notice this first piece of cardstock. It's not a straight line. That's fine. I'm going to turn it over with my pencil. I'm going to put one so I can keep them in order. All right. Now I need another one for my dark section. So I'm not going to go too far up, just a little bit, and rip it again. Oh, I want it to go all the way across. I'm trying to get it to go all the way across. I did it. Yay. So there we go. Number 2. So turn it over and write a 2. Okay. So put it over in the pile. Now we need to have our mid-ground now. So just a little bit up on the paper here and rip it. There you go. That will be our mid-ground. Turn it over and do a 3. All right. Let's see here. Now we're going to want our background. So rip it. Oh, I didn't go all the way across on that, which is okay, as long as that doesn't happen every time, because that would be hard to put it all together. And so then we're going to start about where we ripped it off, and we're going to do that. All right, and so that would be 5. Am I at 5? Are you at 5? Let's see if I got, yep, that one was 4. All right, so 5. So I got my pile over there of paper that I've ripped up. This one here, I'm going to just put it aside because I don't think I'm going to need it. So the first thing we're going to do is go and get my 1, the one that says 1 on it, and make it to try and lay flat. Get my water for my watercolor paintings. Get my paint and open it up. All right, open up my paints over here. And then we have our brush. Remember, this part of the brush is called the bristles. This part here is called the ferrule, and this is the handle. When you paint with a paintbrush, you want to not touch this part right here. We're going to call that the danger zone as well. You want to hold it back a little bit. You go way up here, you're going to be getting your fingers in paint. And it's easier to control if you're back here. So let's remember how to do our watercolor paints. First of all, we dip our brush in the watercolor. We're going to be using the black, so we wake up the black, wakey, 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 wakey. All right, and then we take it and just paint away more. Notice that we're going to want to get more paint rather than more water. Every time we don't need water, but when we run out of water on there, then we're going to get a little bit more water. We don't want that paint to be swimming. No, it's not a good idea to swim. All right, so we're going to go all the way. Paint away. A little bit more. Make sure it all gets paint on it. If you don't go all the way to the top, you're going to have that little ridge, like I had on my other picture, that almost looked like there was snow in different places. I'll show it to you again here in just a second. Let me finish this whole one up with black. Okay, so that's number 1, and it had black. I'm going to use black again, so I'll just put that aside and find my number 2, number 3, number 5, number 2. Got it. Because we want to keep them in order. And number 2 is going to be black again, so try and make it straight. Make sure my 2 is on the bottom. Get some of the kink out of it so it lays a little bit flatter. And then we're going to do what we did with the other. Paint away. Paint, 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 paint. Okay. All right, this one has a lot of the other side of the paper, so the texture's a little bit different, but that's okay. All right, so that is that. Okay, all the way to the end. All right, now I have found that it works real good if these lessons are like 15 minutes long. It's easier. Don't forget to clean your brush. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker here and just show you how to put the black together. But then when you get to doing your project, you are going to have to remember to do your 3. 3, come back 3. 3 is going to be dark. How do you do dark? I'll just show you here a second. Get your water over there. Wake up your green. Wake, wake, wake. It gets dark by keep waking it up and moving your brush around. Then when you paint, it will be a darker green. Okay? So now how are you going to do it light? All right, let me get all of this paint off my brush here. When you do it light, which would be your 4 and 5, okay, you go and you get it lots of water on there. Wake it up with lots of water, and you do it like so, and you add more water to it so that your paint spreads around. Okay, you want lots and lots and lots and lots of water and less paint. That's how you would get it lighter. All right, so you can see with the dark, I will probably, it's right there on the edge of the paper, at the edge of your screen, but with the dark, I'll probably go over it again with a little bit more dark to make the contrast even sharper. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have a dark on your 3 and your 4, and light on your, well, just 5 and 6. So if you do 6, so I'm just, depending on how you ripped it, you want to have at least one very, very dark and one very, very light. And depending on how your ripping went will depend on how many of those that you do. But you do them in order. You start with your black, then you go with your light, and then you go with your black, then dark, then light. Okay, so I'm not going to continue painting all of these strips right now because I want to show you how to glue it. First, you're going to glue this side on, this one on here, just like that. Then you'll put some glue on the back, and you will stick it Make sure it's the one that fits. It looks like this goes this way. And just shove it underneath the other one, okay, after you glue it. That is how you're going to do that. All right, just shove it underneath so that you don't see any other of the background there. And then when you get to the next one, you're going to just take it and you'll shove it underneath, and the next one, and you'll shove it underneath, and that's how it will go. Now obviously I'm just showing you the shoving underneath process over in this corner because you want to lay them all out nice and flat. Before you do that though, you're going to want to take your paints and your paintbrush, and you're going to want to paint a blue sky on the top, and you're going to want to take one of your yellow suns and put that on the top. Then if you start from the bottom and work up, it'll work out perfectly. Let me show you again the picture that we've done. Okay, see how it's all tucked in nicely. Then it goes darker, darker. We have the blue sky already painted, or it needs to be already painted, and we have the yellow sun up there. All right, I hope you have fun doing it. Let me see your projects when you're through. All right, have a good day.